closing the financial year, but I think being that they have opened it at Central Bank, we'll include it in our books in there for the.
So you can keep that in view and advise us on whether they've complied with the Act.
Thank you, Chair.
Honourable members, we can come back to payables. I know there's an issue on receivables, but there's also an issue on payables. Let's start with payables, because those receivables will still remain as a debt in the books. They'll, unless there was an issue about the write-off. So, Auditor General, tell us what you established on trade and other payables balance.
Thank you, Chair. This is number 5 under our financial statements. The statement of financial position reflects trade and other payable balance of 6,486,882,856 and a comparative balance of 1,478,761,394, which reflect an increase of 5,007,325,462 for the year under review as disclosed in Note 32 to the financial statement. However, review of the supporting schedule reflect balance of 5,843,012,076, resulting to an explained and unreconciled variance of 643,070,092. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of trade and other payables balance of 6,486,082,856 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
I believe there's another finding on trade payables. Is it coming under lawfulness?
Yes, Chair. It's coming under lawfulness.
Long-standing payables.
Yes, it's number 1 under lawfulness.
Can you just read it so that we deal with this issue of trade payables jointly? And members, you can also look at Note 32, which we usually analyze the aging analysis of the debt, so that we deal with this issue of pending bills collectively.
Thank you, Chair. Number 1 under lawfulness is long outstanding trade and other payables. The statement of financial positions reflect trade and other payable balance of 6,486,082,856 as disclosed in Note 32 to the financial statement. However, review of age analysis revealed that there was a balance of 1,478,761,394, or 23% of total payables have been outstanding for more than 1 year. This was contrary to Section 53, subsection 8 of the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act 2015, which states that an accounting officer shall not commence any procurement proceedings until satisfied that the sufficient funds to meet the obligation of the resulting contract are reflected in the approved budget estimate. Further, failure to clear trade payables in the year to which they relate distort the budget of the following year as they constitute to a first charge on the budget. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law, and the county executive runs the risk of incurring significant and unqualified costs on interest and penalties associated with delays in settling the invoiced bill. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Governor, we have handled 2 queries, but they relate to the same matter, trade payables. So maybe you first deal with the issue of the 5 billion growth in trade payables in 1 year, and then you go to the other matter of trade payables worth 1.478 billion that have been outstanding for more than 1 year.
Thank you, Chair. To the members and everyone, it's page 309, the first one, 309. Honorable Chair, the variance amounting to 643,070,092 relating to grants and transfers to other entities was not reflected in the trade payables schedule, but it was appropriately recognized and disclosed in the statement of financial position. The management has taken the following steps. 1, the trade payables schedule figure of 5,843,000,000 12,764 has been adjusted to incorporate the variance of 643,070,092, hence reconciling with the statement of financial position figure of 486,856,856 as per the schedule provided. Appendix 5.1 has the reconciliation statement. In addition, management has undertaken several capacity building workshops for accountants to strengthen technical competencies, particularly in the application of IPSAS 33 and other relevant accounting standards. Appendix 5.2 has the IPSAS training. I go straight through to the next.
Maybe we can ask questions on this, then we go to the other one of the aged debt. Auditor General, does that response address your concern?
Thank you, Chair. The response was addressed because most of the variance that we were querying were the payables, the money that was to be transferred to various fund accounts, which has since been provided. Thank you, Chair.
Now, so that deals with 643 million.
Yes, Chair, they have reconciled.
But the bigger question, Governor, is how you close a year with a debt of 5 billion under 1 year. What were the circumstances? Because the prior year, the opening balance was 0. And this year, 5 billion was debt less than 1 year. The prior year opening statement balance was 1.4 billion, and then you close the year at 6.4 billion, which indicates that your pending bills, what we usually call pending bills, has grown by 5 billion. That's what percentage growth is that? From 1.4 to 6.4. That's almost a 4 times growth. What were the circumstances, and what is the plan to settle that 5 billion debt, and what has been achieved so far?
Oh, thank you, Chair. I'll turn it over to the CEC Finance.
CC?
Thank you, Chair. During the close of last financial year, there was a change in financial reporting, where the controller of budget required us to report anything that was not covered or paid by close of day on 30th June. And most of these were even monies that we had already requisitioned and we are waiting for the controller of budget to approve. But most of it has been paid. As we are talking now, the bill is around 2.1 billion as of close of May this year.
Do you have any evidence of payments made during the year?
Yes.
So, can you cite them in the appendices in these documents?
I didn't.
Is there evidence before us on the payment progress?
It is in my second and third quarter financial and non-financial reporting to the National Treasury and Control of Budget, which we can provide.
So probably you are responding to 642 in this.
The whole figure of 6.4 billion.
I think what you've tendered is to close the gap of the unreconciled variance of 643, but this is a supplementary question on how you closed at 5 billion, and you're saying it was a cutoff. Now, how did this cutoff only affect Nakuru and not other counties? Because you have seen 46 other counties, and none of them has reported that kind of figure, and where they have reported that kind of figure, they have given reasons of late disbursements from the Exchequer. Now you are giving a completely different technical reason.
Yeah, Chair, if you look at it, if you get the Exchequer releases late, you are not able to pay within the month of June. But for all the requisitions that are already in the system by close of day 30th June, you are able to pay all the way to end of July, and maybe 1 or 2, 3 days in August.
TC, just speak in English.
Yes.
Is this money that came late, so you are not able to pay within the financial year, and then it came and you settled? I think we have seen that. We saw a county like Kilifi closing with a huge pending bill of 4 billion. They said the money came late in July, but they were able to demonstrate that subsequently they paid. Now that's English, but if you tell us about cutoff and standards, you'll confuse us.
Yeah, that's it.
So why are you saying that you paid during the third quarter? It should be in the first quarter. And if it is in the first quarter, it must be, the evidence must be here.
Payment, if you look at the way the system is designed, as long as the contractor or the supplier has submitted request for payment by close of day 30th June, you're able to process the payment even within the first quarter.
What was your last exchequer release in this financial year, and when did it come through?
The 2024-25.
Yes, this year under review. Did it come before 30th of June, or it came after 30th of June?
I think it came in the first or second week of July. But
Treasury usually gives a window of 14, 15 days. Or Treasury, was this different in this financial year?
Chair, it's true the exchequer for that specific year left the first week of July, but the counties had all the way to 15 to make the payments. So they consumed the exchequer. It may have seemed as if it was late, but it was used in the specific year because the budget is opened for the previous year to consume the money that was for the previous year.
Do you see?
But Chair, if you look at the reporting was as of 30th June.
So you're saying you're reporting before you receive the last tranche of the exchequer?
Yes.
But you see, Chair, what I find difficult with Waziri is that he says there is even a schedule of payments or settlements. But that schedule is only available to him. I mean, what would be the easiest thing to make that available to everyone? So
even though the governor said she does not need my help, when you report that your pending bills have grown from 1.4 billion to 6.4 billion, you are causing yourself unnecessary political crisis, because people will say you are not paying suppliers. So I don't know whether you still need my help or not, but let's hear from Senator Chirarke.
You can help, Chair.
Senator Chirarke.
Chair, mine is on this CEC. You didn't demonstrate, but I've seen the reconciliation of 648 million. This, why in your financial statements you did demonstrate this 5 billion? And then the aspect you should have indicated is it because of this you're arguing that it was given late? What is the role of EGP, the e-procurement, in ensuring that such money do not get hold on? And then finally, Chair, to the governor, I've seen in your aging analysis, over 3 years, the 11% of there is a pending bill of 11% or trade payables of 11%, that is 681,130,092 shillings. Many counties, when they took over, they used to do what we call, although the courts in Kitale stop it, they used to do what we call pending bill verification. In this aspect of over 3 years, Governor, was there any either gazetted or your internal pending bill verification of this 11% that you owe? And then finally, Chair, combining both 2 to 3 years of 273 million, 523 million, Governor, this is a significant amount. Of course, I appreciate Nakuru is a very huge and vast county. What is it attached to? Is it more of recurrent or expenditure, the certificates that are being raised by suppliers and the people or contractors in that region? So, Chair, if the governor can answer those three concerns. Thank
Okay,
you.
Senator Maruma.
Yeah, mine is just on the notes. I'm looking at the note 32 on trade and other payables. And it is indicated that employee payables compensation is 554,458,051. How much do you pay per month for employee salaries? About how much? And is this 554 million for maybe June salaries only or for other months?
Okay, yeah, Governor, you may respond, taking note also that your total revenue for that year was, Auditor General, can you help me to get the actual number? I know it was contentious when you are computing the fiscal responsibility. What
Yes,
was the
Chair.
total revenue?
That one is on page 1 of the financial statement on financial performance. It is 15 billion 593 million 236,006.18.
15 billion.
15 billion, yes.
15 billion. Out of the 15 billion, 6.4 billion are debts. That's what the financial statements are telling us, isn't it? Auditor General, is that the right interpretation?
Chair, no.
What is the interpretation? Because you have trade and other payables of 6.4 billion.
This 6.4 billion, I think it includes even the previous carried forward trade payables.
Correct. You have 15 billion for the year, but you have 6 billion in debt for current and prior years. Isn't it? Because the accountants must speak to the public. The standards and the reports must speak to the public. We must reduce it to a language that the public understands. So, Governor, there have been many, many questions from my colleagues. You can respond to them.
Okay, I'll say it in general, and then if there are specifics, I'll turn over to my people. One, that's a good question on the 6 billion or is it 5 billion? Part of that is salaries, because when the money comes after June 30th, it is paid the next financial year. So it would look to you like a pending bill, but it's truly not a pending bill. It's just salaries. The cutoff of June 30th then messes with that. I think that was the first year of accrual accounting. And then part of the other stuff, part of that bill, my salaries, by the way, I think a senator asked that, is about 600 million or about $500 million per month. And then part of that money too is requisitions for suppliers after the cutoff of June 30th. So a lot of it is then processed and paid within the month of July of that, because also our money comes in late. And I want, for the record, actually even Standard and the Star ran something on us and said Nakuru was number 2 in paying pending bills. So we don't play about pending bills, we pay them. But this has a lot to do with the accounting system that was in place, or that's in place.
There were some questions by Senator Cherargei on the breakdown of the or the aging of the debt. And again,
Sorry.
And again, we are complicating a very simple question, because what perhaps you ought to have demonstrated without getting into too much jargon is that late disbursement and confirm how much it was, and then provide evidence that when it came, it was eventually applied to pay staff, it was eventually applied to pay trade payables. I think that would have clearly given a way forward. But if we make it a technical thing, then we get lost in it. So I don't know, CC, how much is that was received on 2nd of July?
Around 1.2 billion.
Then that does not answer the problem. That does not answer the problem, because 1.2 is hardly enough to pay your salaries. Well, it covers your salaries. Huh? You said 1 or 2 or 1.2?
1.2.
1.2?
Yes.
So then that does not answer, does not cure the problem.
Chair, maybe also, where the debt has been aged over 3 years, and I think Senator Cherargei asked this. Over 3 years, we have 681 million. 130,092. Out of these, how much are staff payables? And how much are third-party deductions and statutory deductions? This 681. Is it possible to get that segregation?
Yes.
That breakdown?
Yes.
Where is it?
And maybe to
Ideally, under this note.
Also, maybe also to add to that, because I had Cherargei asking what Excellency Governor inherited on pending bills. It was about 800 million when she took over the government. You check and see. That's what we have. So, and then monthly reimbursement or allocation is about 1.2 or 1.3 billion, whatever you're talking about, 1 month, monthly. So, having raised the pending bills to be 6.4 billion, then I can confirm that's why the Nakuru people, they're all crying everywhere about their pending bills, the payments. I know you, the Star has said, I commended you that you're paying the pending bills, but there's a lot of outcry, and this can prove having a pending bill of 6.4 billion.
So this is the danger of speaking jargon rather than speaking to the public, because Governor, the report that we have here from your opening balances, it indicates that prior year you did very well.
Yes.
Prior year you did very well. You closed at 1.4 and you had nothing under 1 year. So the concern is why the subsequent year it jumped by 5 billion. And I think that's the explanation that needs to come out so that the people of Nakuru do not come to a conclusion that you are not paying. So if it's an accounting reason, break it down to a language that people can understand.
Thank you, Chair, and I'll turn it over to Martha, who will give us it's an accounting reason that needs to be broken down into language we can understand. But for the record, when I came into office, unlike what the Nakuru Senator is saying, it was not 800 million, but it was 2.1 billion of eligible debt, a pending bill, and 2.5 billion ineligible. But over time, after we set up the committee, most of that moved up to be eligible, because maybe they were missing things here and there. But anyhow, let me turn it over to Martha.
Again, for answered purposes, reintroduce yourself.
Honorable Chair, my name is Martha Mateta. I'm in charge of debt management. Now, I'm going to explain the spike of 500 billion. When we were closing the financial year...
Is it 500 billion?
5 billion, I'm sorry.
Okay.
When we closed the financial year, 24-25, as at 30th June 2025, most of these bills, rather most of this expenditure had not been cleared for payment by the IFMI system. And so when we crossed over to Q1 and Q2 of financial year 25-26, these payments were cleared. Most of them were not ideally pending bills. They were just trade payables that were covered in now the ended financial year. By 31st May of 2026, the trade payables stood at 2.5 billion. So, Honorable Chair, we are really working on paying the pending bills. The rise to 6.4 was not ideally pending bills. It was trade payables brought about by the transition to accrual. Thank you.
So how much of that stock related to staff? I think that question has been asked repeatedly.
237 million.
That's within 1 year?
Not within 1 year.
Or in total?
Yeah, in total. And out of that... 237 million.
How much of that is statutory remittances, pensions?
208.
So 208 million relates to statutory deductions.
Yes, and out of that, we've processed around 68 million for payment.
I would have thought that statutory deductions are done on a monthly basis as salaries are requisitioned. What would be the reason for having about 100 plus million on outstanding statutory deductions for staff?
You see, when we were requested to declare everything, including the old obligations, we had to declare this 208, which was coming from the defunct local authority.
How much was coming from the defunct local authority?
208 million.
Were those pension obligations or the pay as you earn and other tax-related?
Pension obligations.
So maybe just for the record, because you used 31st May as a benchmark, where you said your trade payables is 2.5 billion. As at 31st May, what is your total employee payables?
It's still 237 million because the payments have not been cleared.
And what is
but there is a 58. There is a 58.
What is the age of the 237 million? Is it over 3 years?
No, it's between 2 to 3 years and 1 to 2 years, Chair.
Then it cannot relate to defunct authorities, because if it was for defunct authorities, it would be greater than 3 years.
But that is when it was introduced into the books.
It was not recognized as a liability previously?
It wasn't recognized.
Okay. Auditor General, what's your take on that?
Chair, when you look at note 32, what she refers to the defunct local authority, they have indicated over 3 years. Those ones they are very fine. So I think they are correct because we are moving from the pending bills to now accrual. And with the new adoption, they were told just to put the figures pending verification. So maybe we can give them allowance as we adopt the accrual that allows them to verify and confirm the actual balances so that the books can be properly stated. Thank you, Chair.
Now, on this, do you owe any gratuities to staff who have served the county government of Nakuru previously? Because those would form part of that 237 million.
No.
Is that a statement of fact, or is something that you need to examine?
Chair, it should be a statement of fact because my CEC has
so
confirmed.
Then what is the makeup of the 237 million? What are the items?
208 in staff pension, and then 29 million 455 937 in staff allowances and claims.
Senator Maruma?
Yeah, but Chair, still, I don't understand the auditor. Please just make it clear that there are some bills which are historical in nature that were previously ignored and were brought back just last year. How is that? Where were they? I'm not an accountant myself, I'm a farmer. Where were they previously?
Auditor?
Okay, Honorable Senator, they were not just brought from anywhere, but in our previous cash basis, they were doing disclosure. They were not reporting them as under the financial statement items. And that's why the road to accrual adoption is giving a window of 3 years under IPSAS 33, and they were allowed to bring in what they had reported. So we are using that annexure that was in 2023, 2024, that was reported as a disclosure appendix. So we are just taking them, the ones that have not been paid, but the standard allows them now to bring the balances which are not accurate, pending verification. Same to the case of assets, where we write historical, pending now adoption of balances, and now instituting the depreciation and amortization.
No, Auditor, we spent almost 1 hour with Wajir, who had come up with 1.4 billion as trade payables out of the blues. And we spent a lot of time on it. What you're saying is that they were bringing forward, previously it was a disclosure, isn't it? But if they had disclosed 200 million, you'd expect it is the 200 million that they would bring to their financial statements. Would it change in between?
Yes, Chair, it will change, but if we go to note 32,
Under what circumstance would it change?
it can only change when they have disclosed the analysis, the age analysis. Is it within the first year? Is it the second year or the third? If they bring the third, then it will be wrong, because we have the financial statements which were certified.
No, if they said globally, our trade payables